Hi,
Hi, how are you all?
we're good. How are you?
Good.
Excellent.
Want to introduce yourself first?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm Jordan Massey. I'm a seventh grade scholar at Lily May.
Awesome.
I'm Skylar Parker, and I'm a sixth grade scholar. Yeah, at Little Man.
Awesome. And I am Dr. Tara.
Nice to meet you, Dr. Tara.
Nice to meet you both. And Skylar, I know your parents.
Yeah, my dad.
They told you?
Yeah.
Really? Okay, yes. We went to elementary school together. Well, it's nice to meet you both or see you both.
It's nice to see you too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We're here today to interview. As you know, we have questions, and we'll do each, and then we can ask an additional questions. And
Yep.
if we can, we'll ask additional questions if we have one.
Okay. And feel free to ask, like, if one of my answers isn't clear enough, if you want me to break anything down more, just let me know. Or if you have a follow-up question that's not written on your, sheet. I want you all to feel free to ask whatever you need. My name is Dr. Tara Doty. I go by Dr. Tara, and I am the founder and CEO of Sage Wellness Group.
Oh, okay.
Beautiful. You want to go first with asking questions, or?
Well, yeah, I
You have more experience.
Okay. So first question. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. How did you know that you wanted to help people with their mental and emotional health?
I first knew I wanted to help people with their mental and emotional health when I was in high school. Originally, I wanted to be a pediatrician. And the high school I went to had a work study program, and I was able to observe the pediatric rounds, and that's where I first learned about parental mental health and maternal mental health, and depression, and how that often impacts how people parent their children. And so from that experience, I knew I wanted to work with people, primarily people of color, around mental health issues.
What is the most rewarding part of your job?
The most rewarding part of my job is when things stick. So just like with you all, you have teachers and you could go to all these classes, but it doesn't mean anything unless you actually learn, right? And so when people learn how to self-soothe themselves, when people learn how to take techniques that I've taught and they actually begin to use them and they see value in them, that is the most rewarding part of my job. And when people make it personal to themselves. So one of the things that I would love to do with you all today is a mindfulness exercise, just so you can see part of what I do. But when people take some of the techniques that I've taught and they make it their own. So I love what you did with this part, Dr. Tara, but I added music to it, or I lit a candle when I'm doing my breathing exercises. So that is the most rewarding part of my job.
Okay, so this question is not on the paper, it's a question for me. Do you work like kids, like little kids, 6-year-olds?
So right now, my business, we don't do therapy counseling. Right now, we work with organizations and schools. So we've been with students as young as Head Start. I've worked with kids as young as Head Start. So those are 3 to 5-year-olds, all the way up to students in college. And so we've taught, are you all familiar with mindfulness? Have you heard of mindfulness before?
I heard of it, but it's somewhat clear to the meaning. So yeah.
Okay, so mindfulness means that we're just paying attention to where we are. So one of the cues that we'll use in mindfulness is where are your feet, or be where your feet are. So if you all were to look at your feet right now, you would say, oh, I'm in school, I'm sitting down, I'm next to somebody I trust, right? So if I was feeling anxious, I may say that oh wait, I'm thinking about what can happen tomorrow. Where are my feet right now? Right now, I'm in my living room with you all beautiful scholars. I'm in a safe place, and that just helps your body calm down a little bit. And so with children, one of the things that we teach, we first start with breathing, because that's a universal skill. And so with a 6-year-old or younger, we teach something called belly breathing, where we'll have them put a stuffed animal or even their hands on their bellies and move their belly up and down by their breathing. And that often helps them to calm down. So we start with the body with younger children. That's what I was trying to say.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense? Versus like sit down and be quiet, right? We start with the body. Like when your body feels like this, right? Because kids know how like, oh, it feels, I have butterflies in my stomach, or it feels like I got to get it out, right? So we talk to the body first, and then we get the mind to follow.
So you're basically helping kids express themselves.
Mm-hmm. And before you can express yourself, I would go a step further. Before you can express yourself, you kind of have to know what it is that you're feeling, right? So before I can say like, this feels scary, I have to know, well, where does like fear, where do I feel fear in my body? Right? For some of us, we may feel it in our throat. Some of us, I know I feel it in my belly, right? Like my stomach gets in knots and stuff. You know, somebody else, I might feel it, like I might start clenching my jaw. So we start with even acknowledging where these emotions are in our bodies, and then we work on expressing it out. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
So last question.
Okay.
Why is it so important to talk about mental health in communities of color?
Ooh, that is a great question. Because, so I had a different response ready, but the response that's coming to me now is that communities of color, we're feelers, right? We feel things. Like, have you all ever walked in a room or ever said like, oh, this person's energy is off, or it feels, right? Yes, right? So we are feelers. We're natural feelers. And to deny ourselves our emotions is really to deny ourselves a part of our culture. And from a societal standpoint, oftentimes communities of color, especially Black communities of color, have not been allowed to express their emotions. Things happen and we're expected to not get upset or angry or be sad. We're just expected to keep going. And that's especially true, not just within communities of color, but also among women, young women. Like women are just expected to do everything and be everything for everybody. And oftentimes we burn out. And I have seen so many beautiful, brilliant people of color burn out because they are tending to the emotional needs of everyone else instead of their own, or in lieu of their own, and thinking that their emotional space comes last. And I think that is a theme that's often perpetuated in our society. And so for me, it's so important that we talk about mental health because it really impacts every other part of our life. Like your mental health is going to impact your physical health. So for example, like oftentimes when we're sad, we crave sugar, we crave ice cream, right? When we're anxious, we crave salt, we crave chips and pretzels, right? But if I know that, then I can do something to self-soothe versus like eating something unhealthy. And so our mental health is really like a crux of, or like the spoke in the wheel of everything else. And so my work really puts that at the forefront in a way that takes away any shame or any stigma around mental health, or acknowledging that we all feel all of the emotions and all the emotions are okay.
Well, I'm so happy that you got to answer our questions. It was so nice talking to you, Dr. Tara.
Nice to talk to you too. So let me ask you all a question. How was this for you all? Did you like learn or take anything away? My big thing is, the takeaway. So how was this experience for you all?
I learned how to help channel the mind, body, and soul by.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And I learned that working with young children is the first step to having not better adults, but having more emotionally understanding adults.
Mm-hmm. Yes, there's a